Welcome back. There's tragic news coming out of Kuwait where 40 Indians unfortunately have been killed in a deadly fire. Times Now has learned that a massive fire had broken out in the southern Mangaf district of southern Kuwait, and 40 Indians who were reportedly staying there have now succumbed in that fire. Let me in fact go across to Rishabh now for more on this. Rishabh, we were praying and hoping that there would be no deaths in that horrible tragedy, but unfortunately 40 Indians are now reported dead. Take us through the details.
Well, Siddharth, definitely this is in Mangaf district of southern Kuwait. As you mentioned, a building that housed the migrant workers caught fire at around 6 a.m. in the morning is what the local authorities suggest. And as of now, we can confirm that at least 40 Indians have been reported dead in this incident, and while dozens other are in hospital injured. This building housed migrant workers from South Asia, most of them being Indian. As of now, we can confirm that at least 40 Indians have been reported dead in this incident. Local authorities say that by the time the fire services reached, the fire had engulfed the whole building, and given that there were more than people who could be accommodated in the building were residing in the building, the exit passages were blocked because of the panic situation that led to maximum of these casualties in this building. As of now, there are at least 30 Indian nationals who are injured, are hospitalized. The Indian ambassador to Kuwait has personally visited them in hospital, is taking stock of it. Indian embassy in Kuwait has also issued a helpline number for the families of migrant workers as well, to get authentic information from the embassy and whereabouts of their family members in Kuwait. But as of now, we can confirm that at least 40 Indian nationals have been reported dead. Total death casualty stands at 41 as of now.
All right, Rishabh, you mentioned that helpline numbers have been put out by the Indian embassies there so that the family members of those who have fallen victim to this unfortunate incident can get in touch about the details of their near and dear ones. What more details do we know about any other communication channels that might have opened up and the antecedents of these Indians who are involved?
Well, what we can tell our viewers that at least 43 others are injured and hospitalized. Out of these 43, even 30 are Indians. Other communication channels that we can talk about, the Indian embassy in Kuwait, the India in Kuwait Twitter handle is continuously giving out updates. What we know that phone line numbers, email IDs have been released by the Indian embassy in Kuwait, and if I can read those email IDs and the phone numbers for our viewers, it categorically says that whoever is in distress can call, and Ambassador Swaka is himself visiting the hospital, and as in connection with the tragic fire incident involving, this is the tweet from India and Kuwait involving Indian workers. Today, embassy has put in place an emergency helpline number, and for our viewers, the emergency helpline number is +965 655 All concerned requests in this connection to the fire incident can be checked on this number by the family members, is what the embassy suggests. As of now, 41 dead, 43 injured. Out of 41, sadly, 40 are Indians out of 43.
All right, all the occupants of this building, Rishabh, are said to be workers. Do we know any more details about the company that they were working for, and what exactly is the reason behind this fire breaking out, and if the company is offering any sort of help?
Well, what we know right now that the authorities have asked the local police to take into custody the owner of the building as well as the manager of the building. As of now, no further details have come out on that front, that who owns this building and what company these migrant workers were living in. What we can confirm that this was a third-party building which was used to house the migrant workers, and the number of people residing in this building were more than the actual capacity of the building, is what we are given to understand. So 84 migrant workers, we are given to understand, were at least in this building. As of now, that we can confirm, at least 84 workers, out of which 41 have succumbed to the fire burn injuries that they inflicted because of the fire, while 43 others have been taken to hospital.
Right.
Out of those 43, there are 30 Indian nationals.
All right, you said, Rishabh, that there are over 30 Indians who have also sustained injuries, and now Indian Embassy has swung into action over there. My colleague Ankit is now joining us for more details. Ankit, the Indian ambassador in Kuwait has paid a visit to those Indians who have been injured in this fire incident.
I mean, that's the tweet here. India and Kuwait account on X, writing Ambassador Adarsh Swaika visited the Farwania hospital, where 6 workers expected to be mostly Indians injured in today's fire incident were admitted. Hospital authorities confirmed that 4 of them have been released, 1 has been shifted to the Jara hospital, and 1 ward is reportedly stable. Here he is, a picture with at least one of the people there, and we also have the same tweet, which is in, I presume, the local language over there. Let's also take a look at what the External Affairs Minister has written. He said this was still quite preliminary. Deeply shocked by the news of the fire incident in Kuwait City, there are reportedly over 40 deaths and over 50 have been hospitalized. Our ambassador has gone to the camp. We are awaiting further information. Deepest condolences to the families of those who tragically lost their lives. Wish early and full recovery to those who have been injured. Our embassy will render the fullest assistance to all concerned in this regard. There was something about the way in which he wrote here that they are believed to be Indians, which suggests that the fire may have been very, very bad, and there is a chance that they're still trying to ID a lot of the people who are in the various hospitals. But this is what we have for the moment. It's in a location called Mangaf. That is where this camp was located, and like a lot of people have said, a lot of Indians live there. They have participated in the building of the Middle East regions, not just in Kuwait, but a lot of the countries that surround it also have been built literally from scratch by Indian workers who live abroad, often in not great conditions.
All right, Rishabh, do we have any more details about the owner of this building? You earlier pointed out how there were multiple violations that were involved and that could have led to this fire.
Well, as of now, the owner of the building has not been named. We are also waiting for the investigation to start, and first to understand who the owner of this building was and who was managing this building. Remember, what we can tell our viewers, that 84 we know of, but some reports suggest that there were 90 other workers who were rescued even from the fire, which means that the number of people living in this building was way beyond the capacity of the building, and that has led to the panic situation that actually was created because of fire, and people could not come out of the building in time, given that the density of people living in this building was way ahead than the capacity of the building, and that has led to more casualties, is what we are given to understand. The local authorities say that at least 90 other migrant workers, including Indians for that matter, have been rescued from this building as well. So 41 dead, 43 critically injured in hospital, 90 others rescued. So this showcases the the number of people who were residing in this one building. And as Ankit was pointing out, that most of the migrant workers who go to these West Asian countries for work, their living conditions are not very good, and they live in conditions which in general is not good for human survival, and
right.
And because once they go there, they are bound to work for companies, and many a times there have been cases in UAE, in Saudi Arabia, in Kuwait, in Qatar, that these workers have complained that their passports have been seized, they are being compelled to live in unhealthy conditions, and they were forced to work overtime as well. So this is one such incident where we can say that people living in this
building, the Indian Embassy in Kuwait is not only in touch with the law enforcement agencies as well as the medical services, but also with the fire services and other departments to figure out what really happened and to mitigate the impact of that. Meanwhile, Ankit, coming over to you for the viewers in India, put it in perspective, exactly where did this incident take place in Kuwait?
So it's happened in Kuwait in a place called Mangaf. Now, of course, here is the map of our area of the world. This is India. And here, through then the Persian Gulf, is where you see Kuwait. That's where we are heading. All the way into the Persian Gulf. It's not the largest country, but here you can see right along the coast is the settlement of Mangaf. And it is here where this building was located. Apparently, it is an up-and-coming area. That having been said, it is a coastal area, and those parts of it are believed to be rather upscale. And I can see also mentioned a number of very highly rated resorts, big resorts also that are there. But as often happens in locations in the Middle East, you have cities that are newly built, gleaming cities with high towers, skyscrapers, a lot of oil money in these areas. But then the people who build them have often lived for a long time in areas where they are generally overcrowded. You see, they stay in rooms that have multiple bunk beds, and they all sort of camp there. They live in together in these matchbox-sized apartments. And so one hopes that's not the case, but there are a lot of buildings like that over there, and it appears that this may have also been of a similar variety. And so this is Mangaf. This is where this incident has happened in Kuwait.
All right. Rishabh, do we know anything about the background of these workers? Which parts of India did they come from?
As of now, the identities of this worker has not been ascertained, Priya. The incident has just taken place. Right now, the major focus of authorities and Indian Embassy in Kuwait is to ensure that the people who survived, who are injured, are given the best treatment possible. Their lives could be saved. As of now, these 40 Indians, the identities have not been ascertained, from where they were, from what they were doing in, Kuwait. But what one can understand from the area where their mortal remains were found, that these were migrant workers who were living in that, and this happened in the wee hours of Wednesday, 6 a.m. local time, which would be around 4:30 a.m. here, 4:30 a.m. here, in the wee hours, and most of them were actually sleeping when the fire took place. And when they realized that there is a fire, there was a panic in the building, and given that there were way too many people then allowed in the building, the exit was not easy, and that led to the maximum casualties. As of now, who these Indians were, and where they belong from is yet not clear. We'll have to wait on that front to understand how exactly they were in Kuwait, what were they doing, and where were they from here in India.
Right. We've also heard a reaction coming in from the External Affairs Minister, who's recently taken charge for his second term, S. Jaishankar. He says he has been shocked. Rishabh, just to recap once again for our viewers, just help us understand, when did the first blaze start? When were the fire emergency services called in? And right now, what is the status of the fire? Have they been doused? You also spoke about other buildings in the vicinity also being prone to similar circumstances, perhaps, and if there is any administrative level action that has been taken.
Well, for our viewers, there are three things that we need to understand. The fire took place around 6 a.m. local time, Kuwait. 40 Indians as of now has been confirmed dead. 30 other Indians are among the 43 injured who are in hospital receiving treatment. At least 90 workers have been rescued from this very building in Manga. Apart from that, the local authorities have initiated investigation. The Interior Ministry of Kuwait has ordered arrest of the owner of the building as well as the manager of the building. Apart from that, if we talk about the vicinity, yes, this vicinity is migrant workers vicinity. A lot of buildings, similar buildings, house a number of workers, and mostly these the number of workers who reside in these buildings are much more than the capacity. And as Ankit was also pointing out, that the living conditions are not that great, and we have heard in past and several instances in past, we have heard that how these migrant workers, A, are mistreated, B, are compelled to live in inhuman situations, as well as how, they have been forced to work overtime, and they have been, at times even used as bonded labor. So we'll have to wait to understand who these Indians were, for that matter, and who the owner was. The investigations at the police level have begun in Kuwait.
All right, we'll keep tracking all those details. Thank you, Ankit and Rishabh, for joining us with those insights. We take a very quick breather.